All right, it's 1-1 now. We've seen a win, we've seen a loss. 1-1. Is Crackety a Giga Knights Templar? Is he going to be Commander of the Watch? Let's find out. Striker looks to strike back here. How's the Lancaster again? Another Dry Arabia spawn. I genuinely do not think the Striker benefited at all last game from his build into the Lancastrian castle. So actually, maybe we see him this time go for aggro. Because Crackety keeps playing these greed builds where he goes 2TC. He's incredibly obsessed with them right now. Let's see also how the scout rotation looks. Striker does something very unorthodox. Rotates towards the enemy TC. And, oh, he's on a collision course right now. It actually didn't really bear fruit. Remember, you have to -4 from the count because you start with 4 extra. So, kind of gives the real picture of how much you've scouted for so far. I don't mind just seeing more Knights Templar in particular because of just how many different builds and mutations they can do. Crackety does realize the gist is up here. Like, Striker, he's trying to do what? Use the fact he has extra sheep to pin his opponent. That must make you feel pretty small, though. When you just see your opponent actually has more sheep than you, you know you've lost the scouting rotation. You can still scrape it together on the return. In fact, it feels like you really should be able to. Crackety has, what, 2 more sheep back here? So actually not really... Oh, wait, no, jackpot in the corner. Okay, that kind of salvages it for him. So this is nice now. Likely we'll be seeing him switch onto wood soon if there's another one of his 2TC builds, which will also provide him some additional food. And yes, apparently there is a new patch. There was apparently patch notes. We might just save it to read through them closer to release. Because for most people, the data, like giving them that data now is going to be irrelevant. It's not going to matter to you. Because you won't have it for another 5 days. Man, dude, Kingdom of France every time. And Lancaster Castle response, so no change. I say that, Striker, the stone this time, is it going to be about manners again? Because the thing is, so I've been thinking about this. The Lancaster Castle, for those that haven't seen it yet, because I don't think anyone's bothered to use it, there are one-time muster abilities in this thing. There's one you access in Feudal Age, which lets you build your Demi-Lancers, which is a unique heavy cavalry designed to be tanky. And then there's one in Castle Age that lets you get your hands on a bulk of Yeomen, and both of them give additionals based on how many manners you have. The problem is the cost doesn't make it worth the proposal. I think situationally the Demi-Lancer pull is okay, but the Yeoman pull costs 1,200 resources. Mathematically, that isn't really a good proposal. Unless you have 6 manners. Because if you have 3 manners, you get 8 Yeomen by default. 3 more manners will give you 11 Yeomen. 11 Yeomen is 990 resources. Instead of waiting to get them, you spawn them straight away, but you pay 1,200. I don't think for a one-time use ability, it's a good proposal. And will you look at that? I've never seen Crackety do this build before. Oh, we forgot to pay out on the last one, didn't we? So let's give it the dub. I guess we'll do pretty keys again. Give you guys 2 minutes. Is there anything he's going to do different here? This is the thing. We definitely want to have some more gamers to look at, because the thing about watching the same person over and over again, there's 2 different types of approaches, right? So, like, some players are just going to hop in and do experimental things because they want to trial the new fancy things. Most players kind of get that out of their system in the skirmish lobby. What Crackley's trying to do here is more optimize his opening, so I don't think we're going to see deviations away from 2TC French too soon. We're probably going to see deviations around Castle Age. For example, the play into Castile I don't think will be for every game. Like, for example, in this game, if Striker went fast castle into Earlsguard, Castile probably loses quite a bit of value, and you're more inclined to go towards, say, Genoese and Crossbowmen. I love the architecture. It does feel cool and different. This isn't just French architecture, right? It doesn't feel like it. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. Because the thing is, this is like one of the funky things about Knights Templar. They are technically a variant civ of France. They feel very different for a variant civ, I'd say. So different that I just don't think they needed to even be called a variant civ. Striker 2TC, he could go far north. Oh wow, he's going to play super tight. Same model, but new textures. That's what it is. I thought so. It feels like the browns are a lot... Well, I think usually it's like slate tiling, if I'm not mistaken, with the rooftops to France. Whereas they've gone for more like a dusky brown, like, you know, these guys are in the Middle East. Yeah, like, oh yeah, that one's definitely French arc. It's the roofing. The roofing's different. Like that, though. So my thought process is that this civ is so different, it didn't need to be a French variant. I think what they've probably done is to stay within budget while creating it. They decided to lean on the fact that they could minimize the need to create fresh art assets by just leveraging an existing civ and changing the texture system. So I think this is like a cost-saving mechanism to make the DLC easier to justify from a development standpoint. So Pilgrim is going to be on the way. Honestly, Crackly has like a very safe pilgrimage timing here. He could even just drop a keep very close to TC, protects the woodlines. As for Striker, is this free T? Really? No, okay, I'm thank goodness. He's just adding in manners. Free TC would be kind of wild here. You don't often see 3 or 4 TC these days, even less so with the recent Pro Scout meta. We do have the stables coming in. Definitely no Pro Scouts. I guess he just wants hobbies. Hobbies are going to make it for a great raider to shut down the Pilgrims, actually. That's pretty smart. Because Crackety's reacting archers again, and it already got scouted. Hobbies is the perfect answer. This actually might tempt Crackety towards the Angevin Empire. We Ingi boys like to have our spears. So remember, if you go for Angevin Empire, you're going to get access to the heavy spears. And heavy spears require crossbows to counter, by the way. The first pilgrim's going to arrive. Hobbies are on the way. I think you wait until you got like freeze, you can clean up fast. Unfortunately, the scout reveals it. Striker should have noticed that though, so he knows he's been revealed. It's worth just attacking straight away. Crackety, look at that reaction. Straight away into Chevalier. Now we have a very interesting dynamic. It's like the classic spear plus horseman. Can it be archer heavy cav? Because at this point, Crackety's kind of playing a budgeted version of French in feudal with knights and archers. They tried to sell you a civ with reused art, architecture, model, voice, and music lines as a brand new civ. People be mad. They knew that and made the twist quite variant. Maybe. I can kind of see where we come from. But my point is more around people's reaction when they heard it was like 2 variant civs was very... I'm not going to say everyone was negative. There was negative connotations from parts of the community. I was like, nah, dude. Like, get hands-on and just see how unique these are. Sure, they might have to recycle some of the assets, but they feel like entirely new civs. So archers are going to get cleared up. We do have a fortress on the way. I think Crackety's going to switch to the safe pilgrimage, but that's fine. That's still 83 gold. That's reasonable. I think he was getting 120, 130 down here. So it's definitely a haircut, but the guarantee of it always dropping off, definitely worth, because I don't think Striker really wants to dive with hobbies underneath keep with TCs. Not without undermesh, definitely. He does at least get eyeballs on, so the Chevalier have arrived. Remember, these guys are weaker than your French knights. And they are cheap. Yeah, this is battle of the cheap heavy cav versus cheap light cav. This is pretty much both of us scraping the bottom of the barrel on quality. That's micro way to injure Chevalier. Doesn't really have any way of healing him. Ooh, this is cool. Desert Citadel's on the way, so that's going to give him the plus armor. Only problem is, you kind of want to be able to force a fight. I think Crackety is like paranoid about Striker maybe being 1 TC. I don't know if he scouted the second TC. It's always tricky up against House of Lancaster because when you see Stone Gathering, it actually could very easily just be manas. Remember, each mana costs 200 wood, 100 stone. I do feel that this is like maybe a bit wasted. In some ways, it makes sense what Striker's doing with the mana placement. So putting them all in one location means you've got all this firepower to protect each other. But there is an argument that putting the manas on, say, your tree lines or your risky resources is a bit better because they're fairly tanky defenses that shoot incoming enemies. But I think his thought process is like, if this was knights and I built 1 mana here, knights aren't going to stop diving. But if it's knights and I build 6 manas here, that's way too much firepower. And it also just guarantees you never lose your passive gen. Okay, we're setting up for the mid-late game. Is it just me or is the math on mana's just not quite there compared to going FC and getting relics? Debatable. So 2TC is a little bit of a conundrum because for 2TC you're going to be paying over 2 times what you pay for a mana, and the build speed is so good. It is over 3 times longer. So manas are a very kind of casual thing. I think manas are very reminiscent to the concept of just casually adding in farms as English. Feels actually quite nice to do. And these things pay for themselves technically after 3 minutes. If you collate the build speed as well, it's more like 4. King's College now on the way up though. Striker's going to tech up first. Crackety, we saw this last game where he just played Feudal for a really long time. I'm just not sure if it's worth it here. There's an argument that Chevalier will start to lose against veteran Hoblars, especially if he goes for the hill training. Remember, hill training is going to give you 150% extra charge damage, which means to start the fight, you're going to just put a giant dent in this cavalry line. And we even have him queuing up for additional manas. Open field system on the way, so he's going to go to 9 manas. That's a pretty lofty amount of income. Remember, at that stage, we're basically generating over 1,000 resources a minute between these things. Monastery now on the way. Is Crackety really just going to lose out on all the relics here? It feels like he's somewhat relegated to accepting it. Now what worries me is crossbows are coming. So Crackety's whole comp kind of starts a little bit neutered. Spearman should technically be okay as a defense, but it is going to be feudal Spearman. So I think for Crackety, the thought process is adding in spears. Cheap way of defending myself lets me gradually get castle. And you remember, cool thing about playing KT is when you're an age behind, you can catch up really fast. It only takes a minute to do so. In fact, sorry, even less, 45 seconds. I think here you probably benefit most from Angevin? Nah, I think he's going to try to go Kingdom of Castile again. Okay, these are legal walls from Crackety. I kind of love that. I mean, it's not too far to reach for him. Meantime, we have got the Chevalier raiding. There is a mirrored raid on the way, though, and these veteran Hobilar. Wait, did Striker miss out on that tech by accident? Hill training's totally worth it here. Your initial hit is going to be able to just wipe out a few villages. Because remember, it means that your initial hit is going to be hitting for about close to 25 damage. Good reaction by Crackety. Sees and immediately pulls away. Spearman reaction is going to be coming in. Nicely defended. Crackety almost ready for the age up. I keep looking back and wondering if he can justify Castile just for the healing damage. I don't think you play it for the range unit as much here, because your opponent has hobbies. That's why I keep looking and thinking Angevin. Angevin for the active unit would be sick here. The problem that I have with Angevin is this comp, technically, you count yourself. Because you think you're countering because you kill Hobilars, but you actually just die to crossbows and... Yo! We've got it! It's the Demi-Lancer timing. He mustered the troops. This is a one-off use, folks. So he built all the manas up and then triggered the unload. Got his hands on 11 Demi-Lancers here, courtesy of the fact that he built 9 manas. He can now also do this with Yeoman, and it looks like he's prepping for that. So remember, when you do this pull with the Yeoman, you're going to get your hands on 17 Yeoman toll, which actually makes the Shire Levy worth the 1,200 resources. It seems strong. Now, be careful. Don't get too baited. The Demi-Lancers are technically quite weak fighters. Their lance charge isn't too bad, but the base damage of 10 in Castle Age is not strong. Their health pool isn't even that strong. This is theoretically meant to be a frontline tanking unit. It kind of feels underwhelming sometimes to look at for a tanking unit. I have a feeling they'll probably end up looking at buffing Demi-Lancers in some form. Maybe armor. Yes, Demi-Lancers get upgraded with age, but yo, this could be a big raid. He doesn't get behind him. The A-clicks actually betray Striker there. Crackly's going to be pulling away. And he did choose to go with the Castile. So his only option here is to go into Templar Brothers. Chevalier plus Templar Brothers actually kind of synergize each other in interesting ways. So by having the Templar Brothers as a heavy cavalry unit, it means that actually the Chevalier get increased health. And then in return, the way that Templar Brothers benefit is a tech here called Rule of Templars. Very powerful, it's coming in now. It gives +2 charge damage per nearby charging heavy cavalry. So the start of the engagement provides an insanely big wallop with chargings. You can see it here already. He's up to, wait for it, 37. And now he's up to 51. Where it does get a bit awkward is technically it's a deceptive wave. The first hits are really impactful. But then obviously, because you're no longer charging, the ones who follow up do less. So I find the weird thing about the Brother Templar tech is the Rule of Templars tech kind of feels really good for the first 2 seconds of an engagement, and then you just feel like you want to walk away. In theory, if your opponent doesn't want to fight, you can kind of milk it to follow. Okay, and we actually do have more horsemen now on the way. Yeah, it's full cavalry, but all departments on board. And here we go. We actually have the levy. Boom! Yeomen take the field. That's 17 yeomen for the price of 1,200 resources. That's actually a worthwhile exchange. Striker has not upgraded them yet, but Synchronized Shot could be kind of sick here. It's really good at clearing spearmen. Remember, Synchronized Shot is the AoE ability of the Lancastrians on their range units. It does also calculate bonus damage. So if you target things like spearmen with your archers using this AoE shot, you do more damage. I think that's actually the timing Striker's looking for here. Meanwhile, Crackly, I think, is looking for more keeps. We do have a sneak out to the south side. More fortresses soon to be on the way. He kind of needs to lean this fight more to the west so that you can benefit from the armor aura. Yeah, because he can take it, and there we go. So he's got Desert Citadels. The problem is Desert Citadels has quite a limited range. It's kind of here. Not as big as, say, for example, the... Oh, there you go. Actually, it's square. That's just influence, I was about to say. It's almost like this kind of circular motion. It's actually weaker on the radius than things like networking castles. Striker, a little bit of a drive-by here. Isn't going to be able to do too much damage. He's already been chipping away, though. It's now turning into a pretty noteworthy 15 villager lead. In fact, where is he getting those additional working guilds? Oh my god, I didn't even see that. I'm blind. The villagers ran north instead. Wow, okay, so that was a worthwhile raid. Crackety. I do not like the look of this for him. We do have the healing the sacred side, so if you can get chip raids, it's worthwhile here. The monk play is not going to feel that great. He can at least get one relic, but that's going to be it. Cool thing, though, if he goes for the treasure towers, this one relic, this sacred site, is going to be worth more gold than normal. And we do have additional keeps coming in. Yeah, kind of spammable compared to other civs, I'd say. It's definitely not spammable in general because it's still 900 resources. But remember, for Knight Templar, you don't pay 900 stone for these things. You actually only pay 600 stone. 300 gold. Yeah, so a bit more forgiving in that regard. But, oh, this is a horrible trade right now for Striker. Genitors are actually getting the fights they need. Wingard is on the way, though. It's time to Wingard Leviosa up to the 4th age. This is going to be powerful. So, additional access to Demi-Lancers, but actually just as good a play as going to the Earl's Guards. You could even... Okay, this is kind of sick. You could actually even consider going for the Rolderquins. Yeah, there's a very interesting choice here, guys, called Gunpowder Contingent. It gives you double Baldy Boys and a Culverin. And yes, mounted Javs get bonus damage against ranged. That's the key. So the Genitors do 3x damage compared to attacking non-ranged. See that? 5 Jav. and then +10 against range. And it feels like he dragged the whole army at maybe the worst possible time here. Striker now with the backstab. Could hit up the farms. If he wraps wider, he'll actually catch the castle before it gets built. And I think he is looking for that target right now. Okay, so mop up on the front side. That was definitely a waste by Striker. But things are about to get good, guys. They do not have enclosures like the English, but what they do have is scuttage. This allows the manors to start generating gold, which means he's going to, in terms of passive gold, get 360 gold a minute. Not bad. And looks like this is not a bad timing. He actually does block the fortress. Other one's up. Probably worth the dive, actually. Yeah, I actually think it's kind of worth going under here. There's no boiling oil, and your opponent has way too many villages in the area. Problem is, I don't think Striker sees it. Wait, he's about to discover it in the most awkward way. Oh, no. Striker, please. Is he just gonna... I mean, you can commit, but let's maybe not let all the villagers die. Striker. He's distracted right now. Another keep on the way up. He does find the cancel, but loses most of the builder force there. Eco now neck and neck. Crackety is still stuck in Castle Age, but you can see he's edging towards the end of the time now. A reminder, these Demi-Lancers, we talked about the fact they get Shadow upgrade. You can see it now. They're up to 240 HP at this point. Their Lance charge is really good, actually. 38 damage. There is a tech that makes them pretty decent against heavily armored units. It's in the King's College right here, the Collar of Essus. So it gives you +6. You basically get heavy maces on horseback. It's going to be comical to watch mass Demi-Lancers versus mass HP men-at-arms. You have Trebs now. Doesn't really need to go for the Wolf Trebs as much as I'd love to see him do it. It's kind of hilarious that he built King's College and didn't take a single tech this entire game. We have got silk bowstrings on the way, so it's going to be leaning more and more to the yeoman. Makes a lot of sense with bowstrings that go up to 7.5 tar range. I don't know if that buffs your synchronized shot range. I haven't tested that. My first instinct is no, because sync shot already has a crazy range. It's like, I want to say 8.5 tar. And tech up coming in. Okay, Crackney is pretty much just doing the same thing again and again and again. We have got Kingdom of Poland on the way. So Slasher Cavalry, remember, very, very tanky. High damage unit. Striker's actually got a better comp this game for dealing with it. He's already into mass crossbows. Tech Imperial 40 seconds, that's fast. That's the trade-off. You miss out on 3 villages. Well, less than 3, right? It's 45 seconds, so you miss out on a bit. It isn't going to last long against this. Kind of rough for Crackney to actually lose out on the aura at this stage. Doesn't really matter for the range, but the armor is quite nice in these fights. The Pilgrims, though. Good God, man. It's up to 5. 121 gold per. He's getting 600 gold every roughly 60 seconds, actually. Yeah, it's almost perfectly 60. That's crazy income. And he can keep scaling this by building additional fortresses, remember. Each fortress will increase the Pilgrims. That's another reason why Striker wants to take these out. Obviously very frustrating defense to try and break through, but it's just the longer you leave them up, the better the economy gets for Crackety. Crackety. If he can force this fight back towards him a little bit, the damage buff is huge. It's going to be difficult. I don't think Striker has to rush this. Nice single shot. Good reaction. Crackety moves away. So one thing I will say about sync shot is I think it's a pretty cool skill shot. I do think if you're switched on, you can dodge it quite easily. One thing you're going to be looking for here, and I think players are going to develop towards this, is instead of just select all and sync shot once, you're going to see people stagger fire sync shots. It's more APM, but it feels a lot better in the engagement. It just doesn't keep you dodge. It keeps kind of a looming threat at all times, because then you can also manipulate where your opponent stands in the fight if they want to keep dodging. So they have to make a choice. They want their optimal position, or do they want to be optimal in terms of reducing damage? Raid the villages, not too many found. And you can build as many fortresses as you can afford. There's no limit. It's just like castles. One thing I thought Crackety might do, I'm a bit surprised he didn't, is Trebuchet in place. Trebuchets would be able to fight back against the counterweight Trebs. You have the same thing. Actually, yeah, I think you'd be able to perfectly hit the back. And you even do more damage, more base damage. 25 in a burst of 2. So you can actually kind of like counter siege them down. I wonder if Crackety kind of forgot. Oh my god, we did get found. Spin will be able to mop it up though. We do have the veteran seize on the way. This is going to guarantee you can't play the Trebs defense now. Look what's coming. Wolf Trebuchets. You guys ready for this? What? Well, if there's any still existing. Crackety, you're ruining my moment, mate. Come on, at least let him show off the stylish new Trebuchets. Just coming in. Something big on the way though. Padded Jacks is going to give the extra melee armor to both the Yeoman and the Spearman, making them more sufficient against cavalry. But right now, the Slasher Cav are slamming their way through that backline. There is a decent amount of crossbowmen in there, but the flood is real. Crackety is keeping the push going. He's definitely overburdened on wood here. The Slasher Wave has been thinned through. Striker definitely looking a lot better for where at the end of this. Definitely lost a lot of crossbowmen in the process, but easily replaced by the spears. And remember, this is all prior to Incendiary Shot coming in, as well as the Elite Tech spears. I think Crackety, what does he need here? Because you can't play hand cannoneers, this Civ literally can't build them. It might be worth going back into Genitor, playing for Silk Bowstrings, and then playing Genitor plus maybe you just go standard Men at Arms. Kind of feels like it. I don't know, is he just kind of hard stuck because of the unit choice? At this stage, maybe. I think this is maybe the dicey thing about doing France and Poland together. Like, you are so cavalry hard. I mean, Castile as well. Every single choice was cavalry. Sink shots coming in. Not really the maximum damage you're looking for there. I just realized how bad Sink shot's going to feel against Goated Archers. I feel like Crackety's at processing defeat point here. And yeah, he seems to agree that Men at Arms will see switching over. It's the only option he has. There's just so much technological advantage coming in for Striker. I'd actually love to... Yeah, okay, he did already get it. Military Tactics. So remember, Military Tactics increases your bonus damage. So these spears just get wiped so quickly by Yeoman's couple of synchronized shots. Synchronized shots, by the way, remember, I think it's cooldown of 6, I want to say. Unreasonable. And this is going to feel unreasonable. We actually have the gunpowder contingent on the way. Reminder, this is going to give you 1 Culverin, 2 Revoltiquins. Crackety has got a handful of archers, but not really enough to dive in and get the kills. I think Striker is ready to hit up those farms. So much range, 7.5. This area is now on the way for Crackety. And the Pilgrims are still sneaking through, so this is good news for him. He needs all the gold he can get for his Imperial Age techs. This is really his lifeline right now. If it wasn't for this, the game would already be over. Striker actually just doesn't have the pop room, I think, to get the contingent out at this rate. Okay, yeah, he's made space. Crackety's RB looks scary, but it's actually very much a lie. There's only 8 Slasher right now, making 9. So enough spears are coming to contest that. We do have the arrival of the Riboldi boys. This is going to be a big deal. How does he easily reach them? I'm not sure. I don't think he has a clean way of getting on top of them. They're going to show up now. This is where the Slasher will want to consider leaving. Immediately retreats. Correct choice made by Crackety. It's got to be so frustrating. He just reached the Sacred Site where you get the 20% damage buff, which is just ridiculously huge here. Remember, Slasher directly counter Yeoman really well. They also deal with Spearmen quite nicely because Spears and Yeoman are both light infantry. I believe we do have the Billman tech. Love this one. It actually means that you can kind of dent into the longbows a bit. It's not going to be impressive damage though, because like remember, the trade-off with Slasher is they're meant to actually be technically countered by spears. Like I said, it's weird because they get bonus against light infantry. But remember, they have a dense amount of ranged armor. It's 8 range, 2 melee. Has he got one of the long gullies now? Culverins are going to deal with the castle first. Remember, every castle going down is just less gold being generated by pilgrimages, even if you get them through. One option on that pilgrim has already been removed, by the way. The Secret Site north side stone walled up. I love this civ. These civs are cool. Oh, the sink shot! Big hit to the back line, like a mangonel to the face. Revoldiquins, I mean, he just can't touch him. He needs to snipe the Revoldes, but getting in range is difficult. Yeoman completely outgun you on the approach. I think the comps just got him dead now. If he could reach with Slatcher Cavalry, there's a turnaround here. But genuinely, this Revoldiquin, mass Revoldiquin strategy coming through, which is quite pricey, 800 wood, 850 gold, is just making approach impossible. We do finally have sealed bowstrings from Cracky, so maybe now we'll look for that fight where he just directly contests. You have to remember he has got a 15% range increase, so should balance out against the Yeoman here. We can see, yep, 7.47, a very weird number, up against 7.5. Has waited so long, another sink shot is available here. Be careful not to stack too hard. Really good hit. I think that's the most damage you're going to get because your opponent's crawling towards the archer range. Dive now coming in. Revoldiquin does get sacrificed. No more in the front line. Spearman not going to try to swipe through. It's Striker. He's got so much resource in reserve. I think if he just builds a bit of full production, this should be over. You can see Crackney barely holding on economy. Culverins are feeling a little bit lost right now. Oh my god, Crackney, he actually pushes him away. Please tell me he has military academy. Okay, he definitely does. Maybe the production's just a little bit limited here for Striker. Doesn't feel... Yeah, 6 racks, 6 archery range, 6 stables is not a lot. Not at this stage. I feel like he could easily have double. Good sink shot. Whoa! Crackety basically just stood and walked into it. Heat drop protection is going to be there. So Crackety, maybe a bit of an overextension here. I think he got overconfident with his move. Like, finally had a pushback. Finally had room. And you got to feel for him because Crackety kind of has to push like this. If he doesn't get pilgrims for anymore. And he needs every bit of economy he can get. This is basically like the race of passive income. One side has the pilgrims. Other side has the manas. Like Templar feels crap. I don't know about that. I think if you choose all 3 cavalry choices, you're probably going to have problems. Like, Lancastrians are probably one of the best spear civs in the game. I genuinely think they're probably top 3 spear civs. Because of the military tactics, the bonus damage, and the buildman, plus the free melee armor. Like, these things are ridiculous. If you think about what the free melee armor is, when they revert elite army tactics, you're basically getting old elite army tactics with new elite army tactics. Crackety, I think this is the end of the road. It took a lot to grind him down. He went full cav. You never go full cav. It's like he picked the French flag and Feudal Age is like, oh, I've done this before with French. It's just not the same for KT, especially against Lancaster.